Hello guys and dolls. Today we're looking at the London Underground S-Stock motorised 4-car train pack from Bachmann, and we're going to show how it can be used in conjunction with the Class 68/1 DMU Chiltern Railways, also from Bachmann, to create a modern image layout. Here is the obligatory end of the box view. This is the version of the London Underground train produced exclusively for the London Transport Museum. This is the first train that was issued. They subsequently issued another one which is very similar, except it has moquette seats inside and different destination blinds. You see, the one that we are looking at is 35-990. But in most respects, this model is almost identical to the subsequently produced model. Looking at the rear of the box, it does show you how you can make up an 8-car set by purchasing additional carriages. The additional carriages were made available by the London Transport Museum. I've got just one here, and you can see here's the what it says on the end of the box. This model is extremely expensive, and you'll be very lucky to be able to own one. So if you can't actually afford it, just enjoy watching this video. Inside the box is the usual standard packaging. I'm not going to bother to get these out right now because I've previously done an unboxing video of this train. I'm just going to put it on the turntable for you so you can have a closer look. Here is the 360-degree view of this train. Let's take a closer look. Zooming in, we see we have quite a lot of detail, and we have the doors nicely picked out in red as they would be on the real train. There's the London Underground roundel on the carriage. Again, there's detail on the doors. Can't zoom in any closer. Okay, let's look at the front of the model. You can see here that the front of the model is quite well depicted. The London Underground S-Stock differs from national rail trains in that it has large windows to improve visibility for the driver. National rail trains don't have this because there are level crossings on the National Railway system, and therefore it would not be safe to have all this glass at the front of the train. But on the London Underground there are no level crossings, so this design can be used. There is a door at the front which would allow passengers to escape from the tunnel in an emergency. There is a destination on the front which my eyesight will not allow me to read. However, with a magnifying glass, I've determined it says Aldgate Metropolitan Line. So it would be a train that would be going towards London and not away from London. Both the power cars are identical. The only distinction I can notice is that one of them has a different number. One says 21087 and the other one says 21088. Both of them are going to Aldgate on the destination board, which is rather boring. Here is the underneath of the power car. You can see there are these metal pickups on the wheels there. See them? There's a little bit of detail underneath. Of course you wouldn't be seeing this detail. And it does have sprung kind of couplings on the end. Here is one of the centre cars. Not much you can really say about it, except that it's a very similar design to the end car. One thing I would point out about this is that there's not a great deal of relief on the model. That on the real train the doors slide open in front of the bodywork, and so of course there'll be a gap between the bodywork and the doors, but on the model the doors are more or less flush with the bodywork. I suppose from the point of making the moulding, the manufacturer could not make it any more accurate. If you look here, you see that they don't actually stick out as far on the models they would do on the real train. On the real train, here there's like quite a deep groove where the doors slide in and to and fro, but this isn't really represented on the model. A feature to note with this model is that the intermediate cars do have pickups pre-fitted on the wheels, so it would be possible to fit internal lighting. When I bought this model, it came with pre-fitted lights. The pre-fitted lights do not come as standard, though they were available from the London Transport Museum. You can still buy these lights from eBay. This view shows the interior of the carriage with the sound system and the lights, which are just battery powered and are operated by a trembler. This arrangement is much cheaper to implement than the Lego Man Biffer sound. This speaker does only produce two sounds: the door closing sound, alarm. That's all it does. This is not, doesn't produce a range of sounds like acceleration, deceleration, but as you can hear, the sound is quite clear and distinct. That's the sound you would hear just before the doors would shut. Here's the interior of the car. You can see it has both longitudinal and transverse seating, which is a feature of the trains on the Metropolitan line. So the train is accurate for the Metropolitan line. You could, of course, fit passengers. Bachmann do supply passengers without legs that you could glue into place on these seats. This model does differ from the subsequent model in that this model doesn't have moquette design printed on the seats. But I mean, you could quite easily print out some moquette designs and stick them onto the seats just the same. It would be cheaper to do that than it would be to buy the new version of the train. This view shows the battery that is used to power the lighting and the sound. These batteries can easily be purchased on eBay, a pack of 10, they're not very expensive. The previous owner has stuck lighting in with blue tack, and that seems to be quite an easy way of doing it, because you can easily just take this strip out to replace the battery. But the batteries last a very long time. They probably last about 10 to 20 years, so once the batteries are fitted, you're not going to be taking them out again for a very long time. Just showing you the underside of the power car. There are 3 screws to release this. There's 2 screws at one end, and there is 1 screw here, which when you undo it allows you to take the body off. Only the power cars are held together with screws. The other intermediate cars are just a friction fit. Here is the interior of the power car. You can see that the mechanism is all contained within the bottom part of the car. There's no visible motor inside the car, which is a positive thing in some ways, but in other ways it's not, because the motor is very small, being contained within this area underneath the seating. Let's screw that back together. The screw that goes in the other end is slightly smaller than the screws in the front part, so you need to make sure you don't muddle them up. It's very diddly. I'll do this off camera. The end fitting's fallen off, so I'm going to have to put that back with some double-sided sellotape. That's another problem you might get with it. Here is the double-sided sellotape. So just snip off a small bit. Let's put that on there. You remove the backing. That's now permanently stuck back. You could of course glue it with polystyrene cement, but I don't recommend you do that because polystyrene cement has a tendency to dissolve the plastic. The instruction leaflet included with the set does tell you the correct order in which to assemble the train. There it is. All coaches are assembled. So I've assembled the train as would be prototypical. The moment of truth, folks. Will she run? Yes. Let's try the express points test. Got a derailment. And there's a derailment. So we failed that test. Let's perform a slow speed test to try to work out what's going on. Yes, it's derailing. So what's the problem? This coach is derailed. That one. So inside the box they do give you a tool for uncoupling this train. Let's operate the two halves of the train separately to see if the problem recurs. No, so the problem's not the couplings, the problem's the two power cars each end are pulling against each other and pulling the train off the rails. There's a problem with electrical conductivity. Let's clean up this track.
See if that makes any difference.
What do you think of this S-Stock train, Wilkie? Is it a bargain or is it rubbish? You have no opinion. I've now cleaned the track. Let's see if it gets round this time. Yes, the problem is cured. Let's try the second radius points test. So she's passed that test. Well, this train will do quite a slow speed, but it's a bit noisy at higher speeds. What do you think, Wilkie? You enjoying these trains? This is the Pico Set Track 00 scale plan book. In it, the author gives an example of how you can refer to a specific place. He gives the example here of Orpington, and he gives the example of Tunbridge Wells as providing inspiration for this layout. Here we see we've got a Eurostar train and a Network Southeast train. So in this layout there's a theme based upon a real place. And over here on the other page he gives the track plan for this station, showing all the set track pieces you would need to assemble it. The Pico Set Track Plans book shows all the track sections that are available in the range, so you can work out what you need to assemble a complete layout. Hornby also do a track plans book, which of course can only work with Hornby track sections. Hornby track sections are more or less the same as Pico set track sections, and the two systems can be joined together, but there are one or two exceptions. There are one or two pieces of track that are available in the Pico set track range that are not available in the Hornby range, and vice versa. Most notably, the Hornby express points are not available in the Pico set track range. If you're planning to build a station, this Hornby set track plans book is useful, and it does tell you what tracks you would need to make this particular formation. It's quite difficult to work it out for yourself, and in this example Hornby have done all the work for you. Following the example in the Pico set track plans book, this station takes its inspiration from a Metropolitan line station, perhaps Chorleywood, perhaps Amersham, perhaps Rickmansworth, where S-Stock trains and Chiltern Line trains can appear on the same platform. The Metropolitan Line is the only place on the London Underground where S-Stock trains and National Rail trains could actually be on the same platform. Of the three stations, I think Chorley Wood is the best preserved station. Amersham and Rickmansworth have been more extensively modernised. But at Chorley Wood there is even an old signal box for you to have on your layout. This station is built entirely of off-the-shelf components. I previously reviewed this capital commuter pack from Bachmann. This is of interest to us because it contains a scenecraft item that we can use for this project. But while we are here, we'll just have a look at the back of this packet. It shows here the opening of Network South East by Chris Green on the 10th of June 1986 at Waterloo Station. But of interest to us is this scenecraft building here. This building is based upon Sudbury Town, which is on the London Underground. Although it's been styled as a Network South East station, it is in fact a London Underground station. Let's turn this back the other way. Here we see the low relief station building, which we can use on our layout. And there we have our London S-Stock train stopped at the London Underground station. How about that? Well, the doors are closing, so it's time to go, I think. Yes, off we go. Well, thanks for watching, and if you have any comments about this layout, I'd love to have them in the comments section.